Hello, welcome to 10th grade world history and back to school night. A little bummed. I thought this was the year we were going to be in person, but alas, here we are with another wonderful video presentation. So I'm going to make this full screen so you can see it a little bit better. Hopefully I don't disappear. So welcome to world history. We are now doing the final 2 semesters. We did 1 semester last spring and we have 2 more this year. It has been so wonderful to get to see your students in person. So a little bit about who I am for those who are new to Hillsdale. This is my 6th year at Hillsdale and my 11th year teaching. Go Knights. Hillsdale is a wonderful school and I feel so lucky to be here. I read a lot of awesome books this summer. If you need any recommendations or your students do, please let me know. I talked a little bit about my happy place. My favorite part of my job is learning from the kids. And now that we're back in person, I really get to see this again, even if I can only see the top half of their faces and mine as well. But they get really excited about the new material. I love watching them grow up over 4 years. This is from the senior sunrise a few years ago, and finally getting to meet them in person. It has been incredible to be back in the classroom. I'm so happy. And I think they are too. I have a student teacher this year. Her name is Miss Glickman. She grew up in LA, but has lived all over the area. She is studying at Stanford and is really into art and baseball and puppies and does Pilates on the side. So Miss Glickman will be working with me all year, and she has been a fantastic addition so far. So what will we be studying this year in world history? We are wrapping up our evaluation of sources and our truth and knowing unit. Ms. Press and I started the year by doing a humanities unit where we worked together to uncover questions like what is truth, why do we study it, and then why do we evaluate sources? And the students have been working incredibly hard on learning how to evaluate different sources, both historically and more contemporary sources. We then move into another humanities unit where we look at totalitarianism. We will be studying North Korea and Stalin in Russia and Duterte in the Philippines as they are reading Animal Farm in English. This will end with a big paper in October. For those of you who are familiar with Hillsdale, we then move into the Golding Trial, and we do a little bit of learning about the Holocaust as a case study in violence and human behavior in preparation for the Golding Trial. It is a very, very exciting Hillsdale tradition where students get to dress up as the character they've researched, and they stand on trial about if humans are born violent or if they are nurtured into being violent. More details to come on that. We will then finish the semester with a very short unit on World War I. Second semester, we will look at World War II. We do an 8-week, pretty extensive unit on genocide. And then the last unit is pretty up in the air, but in the past, we've done a case study on Latin America and looking at borders around the world. It's an awesome year. I'm really, really excited for it. What skills will we be working on? Again, we're going to continue to build on those metacognitive reading strategies that Ms. Press and I taught last year. We're going to remind the students how to annotate, how to think critically about what they are reading, to slow down their reading, to really make meaning and make sense of what they're looking at. We're also going to ask them to be doing reflections and journals. We're going to do our first major essay, as I said before, in October, looking at how to do a claim, analysis, context, conclusions, introductions, and the speaking. This was one of the things that I felt like was lost last year in a lot of ways. So some full class presentations, continuing to build on our group work roles, and of course, small and full class discussions. A typical period. There's not usually a typical period, but what it looks like is we always start with the do now. If we're at the beginning of the unit, I will provide direct instruction on what the content is about. I will then allow them to process that information by writing. We've been doing this sketch noting where students take the notes that they have made and they so one of the things when you film this in the morning is that you have people coming in and out of your classroom. And then they work in groups or partners to process the information. Oh, I was talking about sketchnoting. Sketchnoting is when Students take the material that they've learned and they try to make sense of it by creating images, making really big ideas really big on their paper. They can underline key ideas. They organize at different places. It just allows them to stop and reflect on what they're learning. And again, we're moving into more reading strategies and into writing time. And every Monday and Tuesday, I always do good news, which I love. It's a really great way to know what sports teams won over the weekend, what kids did over the weekend, who got a new pet, whose sibling's birthday it was. I've learned a lot about your students in a year, a little over a year in our good news, and I love it. So how do we grade? This is exactly the same as last year. 50% is summative assessments. That's the big projects, the essays, Golding Trial, the final. And then the formative assessments are those checks for understanding along the way that we are checking for accuracy and thoroughness and completion. And then preparation and productivity is purely based on completion. Are they completing the work that we are asking of them? So I spoke a little bit about this already, but our big humanities pieces in the fall are the totalitarian essay in September and October. And then the Golding Trial will be in November and then beginning of December. And the students, I forgot to mention, will be reading Lord of the Flies in English as well. In the spring, we will be doing a genocide project, and in the past, we've done it across houses where students will research and learn about a modern day genocide, and they create a resolution plan to address all the different factors that underlie this conflict. And then the spring project's still in the work because the last time I did this, we were shut down for the pandemic, but what we did in the past is a borders project where they research a modern day border and they teach the class about it. And we're also thinking about another final humanities project, but nothing quite finalized yet. And where do I find classwork and homework when my student is absent? Absent, there's an error. All classwork and homework will be in modules. I have it here under classwork, homework. They can also just email me. Any of the slides are always in the modules. So anything that they've missed, they can always go back and look there. And I do the slides week to week, so hopefully it's not too overwhelming. Anything is late if it's past the due date. I hope that I am very accommodating with the extensions and excusing people. As long as the students ask me in advance for the extension, I'm more than happy to grant it at any point. I know that they have a lot going on outside of my class, and I want to recognize that and honor that. Reassessment policy that students can redo assignments whenever they want. It used to be one a semester, one a marking period, but I have, after the pandemic, have changed it to making it whenever they want to redo it, they are welcome. Here's the best way to contact me, to contact my student teacher, or you can contact us through Canvas messaging. I'm looking forward to a wonderful, wonderful year with your students. I adore them. It has been so great to meet them in person. Bummed that I don't get to meet all of you, but maybe one day in the future. Enjoy back to school night. See you later.